Volunteer Coordinator, Module 6, Discipline, Event Volunteers, and Volunteer Surplus. The purpose of Module 6 is to look at the discipline process, the role of an event volunteer, and what to do during a volunteer surplus. Discipline. Disciplinary and corrective action policies and procedures applies to all athletes, coaches, and volunteers, herein known as members participating in programs and events sanctioned by Special Olympics Ontario. Offences. The following actions of behavior by participants in Special Olympics Ontario programs will be considered offences. Disregard of the volunteer and coach code of conduct, athlete code of conduct, and athletes' rights and responsibilities. Actions which interfere with the enjoyment of Special Olympics Ontario programs by other participants. Illegal conduct. To go outside of the boundaries of your role and damage, tarnish, harm, and/or cause disruption to another member's role, activity, team, or function. Any action or behavior which may bring discredit to Special Olympics Ontario. Any action or behavior which may discredit, bring into question the safety and/or well-being of athletes, coaches, and/or other members of Special Olympics Ontario. And finally, to falsely present information to members and/or the public to falsely represent SOO. Guidelines for dealing with an offense. When any of the listed offenses is alleged against a member in a Special Olympics Ontario program, the following steps are provided as guidelines in dealing with such a situation. Ensure that there is a documentation of the incident which caused the concern. Documentation should include a description of the incident, dates, times, locations, name of the witnesses, and the person reporting the incident. The SOO Code of Conduct should be used as a guideline when considering volunteer behavior. If the inappropriate behavior continues and disciplinary action must be taken, a copy of all documentation must be forwarded to a representative from the provincial office. Discuss the situation with the individual, outlining the inappropriateness of the incident and positive alternative actions that could have been taken. Where the safety of those involved or the integrity of the organization is brought into question by the actions of the individual, contact a representative from the provincial office to discuss the handling of the situation. Provide the individual with a written warning outlining the concern, detailing what is expected, and timelines by which changes are required. A copy of the letter must be filed with a representative from the provincial office. Where necessary, develop and implement a program that is designed to shape the individual's inappropriate behavior. This may involve the assignment of a volunteer to monitor the effect this program is having on the athletes. Corrective action. In inappropriate situations, communities may take further corrective action following an investigation that replaces some or all of the above procedures. These corrective actions can include a reassignment of the volunteer's duty or participation in sport programs, requirement by the affected member to take additional training or education, suspension, either long-term or short-term. The community may suspend until a specified date any coach, volunteer, athlete, or club when a violation of any of the given offenses is proven after an investigation is conducted in the prescribed manner. A community that suspends a member shall inform Special Olympics Ontario and the provincial office of the period of suspension. Reinstatement. A suspended member or club is automatically reinstated at the end of the period of suspension. The members shall be informed by way of a meeting or by phone call with the community to discuss re-involvement after the suspension has been served. Probation. Once reinstated or in direct result of an offense, a volunteer may be put on probation for a set period of time with a start and end date. If the volunteer during their probationary period commits another offense, their case will be reviewed and the individual may be resuspended or dismissed immediately. Dismissal. The community or provincial office will convey to the affected member the reasons for dismissal due to the member's actions or lack of actions. This may be communicated through writing, a phone call, or in person. Dismissing a volunteer. If the community considers, after an investigation of the offense, that due to the gravity of a violation, a member shall be dismissed, the matter shall be referred to the provincial office for further investigation. The member shall be considered suspended until the provincial office reaches a decision. No member will be dismissed until the member has had an opportunity to discuss reasons for possible dismissal with either the community representative or a provincial staff representative. Reasons for dismissal. Possible grounds for dismissal may include, but are not limited to, the following: gross misconduct or insubordination, being under the influence of alcohol or drugs, theft of property or misuse of SOO equipment or materials, abuse or mistreatment of another individual, failure to abide by policies and procedures, failure to meet physical or mental standards of performance, and failure to satisfactorily perform assigned duties. Notice of departure or resignation. In the event that a member departs from Special Olympics Ontario, whether voluntarily or involuntarily, or is reassigned to a new position or program, it shall be the responsibility of the community to inform those affected volunteers and athletes that the member is no longer assigned to work or participate with them. In cases of dismissal for cause, this notification shall be given in writing and should clearly indicate that any further contact with the member is outside any scope of relationship with Special Olympics Ontario. Concerns and grievances. Decisions involving corrective action of a member may be reviewed for appropriateness. The affected member shall be informed of the appeal procedures for expressing their concern or grievances. Appeals to the decision of the community or sport club may be appealed by the individual in writing to the provincial office within 30 days of the meeting at which the decision was made. The appeals committee, set up by the provincial office, shall review all documentation and make a decision. The decision of the appeals committee is final. Resignation. Volunteers and athletes may resign from their involvement with Special Olympics Ontario at any time. It is requested that volunteers who intend to resign provide advance notice of their departure and a reason for their decision. Exit interviews. Exit interviews, where possible, should be conducted with the volunteers and athletes who are leaving the organization. The interview should ascertain why the member is leaving, suggestions the member may have to improving the position, and the possibility of involving the member in some other capacity with Special Olympics Ontario. Immediate suspension. A person may be subject to immediate disciplinary action, including suspension, for conduct which, in the sole and absolute discretion of Special Olympics, is so inherently harmful as to warrant immediate action. Immediate disciplinary action, including suspension, may be imposed for any of the following: illegal conduct. Engaging in any illegal or criminal activity when the Special Olympics Provincial Office has a good faith belief that there has been illegal activity, whether or not there has been a formal charge made. Behavior problems. Any person behaving in a manner that is inherently dangerous to him or herself or others. This includes any violent acts, harassment, or any behavior which impacts the integrity of the Special Olympics programs. Alcohol or illegal substance. The use or consumption of alcohol or illegal substances that may affect the safety and well-being of other athletes. This includes, but is not limited to, all training or practice sessions, the duration of competition events, or any other Special Olympics sponsored or sanctioned activity where athletes are present. Abuse. Any person accused or suspected of abuse, either physical or sexual, molesting, assaulting, or harassing another person. Communicating with SOO. Communities are responsible for maintaining regular communication with their district developer and with the database administrator on the status of volunteers, and are responsible for the timely provision of all necessary paperwork to the office. The provincial office should be informed immediately of any substantial change in the work or status of a member and should be consulted in advance before any corrective action is taken. Disciplinary action. Special Olympics Ontario has sole and absolute discretion as to any disciplinary action to be taken if a person violates the athlete code of conduct or the volunteer and coach code of conduct. Any action is predicated with a good faith belief of Special Olympics Ontario that the disciplinary action is appropriate. Any disciplinary action that is taken can be appealed as per the disciplinary and corrective action policy and procedures provided by the provincial office. The following disciplinary actions may be taken: issue a warning, place the individual on probation, suspension from further participation in any Special Olympics programs or activities, or expulsion from further participating in any Special Olympics programs or activities. If you have any questions regarding the disciplinary process, please contact your district developer. Event volunteers. These volunteers are normally one-day or one-time volunteers that are recruited to help with competitions or fundraisers. Event volunteers do not need to register with Special Olympics Ontario or submit a PRC. However, they should never be responsible for athletes or handle money. Event volunteers can often be interested in continuing to volunteer with the organization as either an occasional event volunteer or with one of the sports programs. Once they have identified what they are interested in continuing to volunteer with the organization, you should obtain both a registration form and PRC from them. Event volunteers should sign a confidentiality form when they arrive at the event. This form is available in your course packet. Recruiting event volunteers. Some workplaces offer their employees volunteer days. Service club members will often volunteer if you have a specified job for them. Torch Run members may not be able to regularly volunteer, but they often enjoy coming out to help at a competition. Recruit members from a local sports association to help run your competitions. Ask athletes' family members to come out and help at a fundraiser or competition. High school students looking to complete their volunteer hours make great event volunteers. And connect with local special education and phys ed teachers and ask them to help at a competition during the summer. Volunteer surplus. When you are receiving more volunteer applications than you have positions to fill, instead of turning volunteers away, consider some of the following. Start an Active Start program. Assign some volunteers as event volunteers. Consider having extra coaches assigned to each sport to provide more hands-on training. If there is another SOO community nearby, see if they could use the volunteer. Check to see if any of your programs have a wait list and look at increasing the number of athletes or opening a second night for practices. Start a fundamentals program. Check to see if any are interested in joining a council subcommittee. Look at starting a high-performance training program for athletes that have qualified for major games.